All right, we just finished part one. Check that out if you haven't. Part two is going to be the S tier, the S plus tier, and the SS tier. Just the best of the best. And you can see there are a lot of great classes in these tiers, right? It's just insane how many great classes there are. And I can't wait to talk about them, just what separates them from the lower tiers. But, you know, like I mentioned, any one of these tiers can out DPS the other with gear, with more mechanics, with just better gameplay, just in any situation altogether. So I definitely think that this is a good representation of the tiers, but it's by no means perfect, and it's by no means like everyone can have their own opinions on this. It's just mine, what I kind of extrapolated from the current, well, what I have so far, right? But phase two, let's get into it. The top best of the best of the best. All right, we're back with the S tier, my favorite tier. These are my classes that I like to play, fit my play style, and what I like about all these classes is that they all are self-sustaining. Like if I could do solo content, if I was, fits my playstyle. Solo content, covert, like no PE type of class as a challenge, these would be my classes, right? And they also have the combination of great burst. They have a good, good damage. And so, yeah, there's some sneaky good classes here. I'm going to start from right to left this time because these were sort of my last three hardest to decide, A plus tier or S tier. And I just had to show them some love because I think that the Wind Archer, the Iran, and the Demon Avengers, like Wind Archers are considered very good, and I think they are. And I think specifically in team content, right? Solo content, they're actually pretty good, but I was going to put them a tier below, but then Sephi, of course, had to do 250 build DPM on Hard Damien as aggro, and I just had to put them here, right? Their damage is insane. I mean, obviously, right? And when you compare them with DS4, their Howling Gale, their new remastered Hyper Skill, and just their V4 as well, their toolkit kind of pairs nicely with Defense Smash 4. It's kind of short cooldowns, and they also have their Gale Barrier, probably wrong, Barrier, is a nice DPS, but it's also a nice like big bubble to survive tank attacks. And obviously their dash is insane. They have a 30-second cooldown iframe that is very useful as well. I just like that. I've always liked their toolkit. They can attack on the move, so they can kind of dodge mechanics and still do DPS and still survive. And I just think that they are just slightly a tier above Bowmasters, Wild Hunters, Pathfinders, and as far as just having like an overall complete kind of skill set. And again, if any class is going to survive, it's going to be them. They're going to be able to handle any situation better than other archers, which is, puts them just a tier above. And then Arans and Demon Avengers, sort of the underrated, overlooked warriors that I think deserve a lot of love. I showcased the Demon Avenger before. 300 bill, I think, 270 bill DPM in Lucid. Pretty good burst, pretty good damage, insane survivability. Their V4 is very unique where, they're basically not going to die. And as long as you're attacking, you're going to be able to heal through it. Their lifesteal is very good. They have, and I think that one of the things in this current meta especially is that I really think is valuable is the leech, lifesteal, self-heal ability. Right? If you can like heal through certain skills, it's almost more valuable than an iframe. Consistently heal as well, which is what Demon Avengers have. As long as they're hitting and attacking, they'll heal through anything, and they take reduced damage overall. So the only thing that they were lacking before was damage, and with the new rebalance in V4, their damage is very, very good, and I think that they are definitely back and definitely very, very good. And then Iran, 4 iframes. Let's start off right there. 4 iframes. Maha's Domain, is Party Heal as well. And they just have 4 iframes. They have Leech. They can self-heal. The Ron, Axelrad, in our Hardamian doesn't need PEs. I like that. Heal through Fair Trade. Party heals. Iframes he can cycle through. They just shouldn't die, right? And their damage is pretty good, right? Their line count is pretty good. They have better than expected burst. And I just think that what separates them, why I had them in this tier, was because that, above like a hero and a blaster and a Kaiser, which are the other warriors and Adels, they're just more self-sustaining, right? They just have more options. And I like that. I really, really think that's valuable and allows them, right? Again, it just allows them to stand there in DPS, not to overreact to certain things when things get hectic and chaotic, allowing them to do more consistent damage, reliable damage, which I think is very, very valuable and important when it comes to like endgame bossing as well. Maybe not the high peaks as some other classes, but still. Nothing, you can't do damage if you're dead, right? And then these next classes, Shadowers, full transparency, I think they're the best thief in this group. So don't be misled by the order that it's in. I think they're better than Dual Blades, and I think they're better than Nightwalkers. They have better burst, kind of 6 second, and the meta right now is again 6 to 10 second windows of burst paired with Defense Smash 4, and Shadowers have the best of the bunch. On top of having iframes that they can cycle through 15 second, 45 second, they have Dark Side as well. They have good consistent damage, and they have just very good burst. So I think that they are great, the best of this bunch, thieves. And I think they have a little bit of lifesteal as well. So they have a little bit of self-healing, but I think Shadows are very good. Very underrated when you compare it to other classes. A lot of people think that Dual Blades and Nightwalkers are better. Maybe they are. Can't disagree with you, but I have Shadowers slightly above them as far as better burst, better DPS, and a good enough, very good toolkit to be aggro, to survive, to maintain your DPS. And the mechanics, underrated. Sephi had to put them, they might not be my top 10 here, but I mean they have to be in this upper echelon. Their DPS, Covert 45, 46k Covert, probably higher. You've seen the showcase of them beating out the top Paladin in their server, aggro, DPS wise. Mechanics are very good. They have a party heal that is going to heal through Fair Trade. Good burst, good DPS. I just think that they are a tier above the below Pirates, right? Their damage is just a little bit better. Burst is a little bit higher. Their DPS is a little bit more sustainable and they have a few iframes, I think, short iframes too, that they can use. And I think that just separates them from the other Pirates as well. And then DKs and Nightwalkers are basically identical as far as how their kind of their skill toolkit is made up, right? Good burst. DKs arguably have the best burst, kind of short 6 second burst in the game, very underrated. Nightwalkers, great burst as well, on a 60 second cooldown. They both have Leech, Lifesteal, self-sustaining. I love that. Iframes, just a good toolkit, right? High-end burst, peak burst, which I always appreciate, which is what's very nice in this meta. Not the best. Good sustaining DPS as well. And then they're just leeching, lifesteal, which is just amazing to heal through mechanics, to survive mechanics and tank mechanics with the HP pools that are right now. If you can just heal a little bit to survive certain attacks and just stand there and tank through stuff, huge, right? I love both those classes. Very underrated, very, very strong classes. And then, like DKs and Nightwalkers are the identical Warriors and Thieves, Demon Slayers and Dual Blades are exactly the same as well. Great burst, 3 iframes. They have their own Leech, Lifesteal, Demon Slayers are slightly better. I think their burst is a bit better. Their consistent damage is a bit better. They have a 50% heal. That's nice. So they have the combination of better self heals and 30-second, 60-second, and 120-second iframes. So they have good kind of everything that you need. They have a stun as well. Dual Blades, I've underrated for a long time. I forgot that they had 3 iframes, and I just love that about them. They're back. Very good, very tanky. They have, I think it's a 60-second and 2-minute cooldown iframes. So it's not the greatest. They're not always accessible, but I just love that they can do their big burst on the move. They have short skills as well, like their V2 and V3. Yeah, their V2 and V3 are kind of short cooldowns, so similar to Phantoms, but their V1 is a big burst now, 2-minute cooldown, and they have consistent damage from their V4 as well. So I love Demon Slayers, and rightfully so. I love Dual Blades. Very, very good as well. And then Paladins last, I almost put them in the SS tier, to be fully honest, but when polled, they were the most popular, but they were also the most overrated. And I think that, are they overrated? Slightly. I do think that Guild Honor Battle, Mulung scores overrate Paladin's DPS slightly, because that's where they kind of thrive. They've gotten much better in those content, and that's kind of what you can see as far as ranking. Team bosses, though, at the end top tier, they have a hard time holding aggro, especially when you compare them with other equally geared players. I think that's challenging, but their burst is some of the best in the game. And I think people, and for me, again, toolkit matters. How you do your damage matters. They have short bursts that they can they have 3 charges of their V4 that they can hold to use all at once in defense match 4 window. Their 6 to 10-second burst window is arguably the best in the game. Maybe up there with Night Lords, Cannoneers, Mercedes, but their DPS on every 2 minutes is insane. And on top of that, their 60-second is very good as well with Echo. But again, their downside is that 60 seconds is difficult to consistently do damage for that entire time. It's just hard, challenging, right? And when you look at Culvert scores, they're not very good in comparison to other classes. So kind of combined with that, I think that their DPS is slightly not the S tier. I think that Demon Slayer's damage is better, DK's damage is better, Nightwalkers, Dual Blades, all of these classes in this, maybe except for Arans and Wind Archers, I think Demon Avengers may have better DPS in a 2-minute time frame for sure. Absolutely. And more consistent damage. But I just think that since I play Paladin and I talk it up so much and I showcase it, I think people think they're very good. But I also think that Paladins have 2 of the best skills in the game. They have the best support skill now, which is Paladin Res, right? Paladin Res is officially, in my opinion, the best support skill because you can time leap it. It's on a 60-second cooldown. It gets reduced with Phantom's card skill, so it can be even less than 60 seconds. And then Synchro, still the best iframe in the game. And on top of that, they also have the best self-heal in the game. No cooldown, spammable heal. 50% heal at first, then 40, then 30, then 20, and then 10. But I can literally, at 100k, 80k HP, heal through 2 orbs on me, hitting 40k. I don't know how, whatever it is, but with that heal is disgusting. So they have 3 of the best skills in the game, arguably the best burst in the game. Hard to say that's overrated, but I think their DPS is still slightly not that good in actual boss fighting, replicable consistently. So I got them S tier, but it was very hard for me. I'm nitpicking here, S versus SS tier. But yeah, they have the best. Paladins, if any class is going to survive to the end when shit hits the fan and not skip a beat DPS wise, it's got to be a Paladin. If your Paladin is dying consistently, yeah, it's not the class. Let's just say that. All right, and finally, we got the top 2 tiers, S plus tier, the glass cannon tier, the best of each category: pirate, mage, warrior, archer, thief. All very, very similar. Some of the best burst in the game, arguably the best. These 5 classes have the best burst in the game. Cannoneers have the most lines in the game. 2 minute, 3 minute, whatever it is, their lines are significantly higher. Now there's small lines in there, but their burst is still very, very good. And I heard that they have a good iframe too. I think it's on 20 or 30 seconds. So they have some sort of self-sustainability. And when I talked to Lama from the Cannoneer from Enosis, he made a good point. And he said Cannoneers, what makes them very good is they have a lot of place down skills. And I think in the current meta, that is actually very valuable, because when Damien is flying up, or Lucid is going through minigame, or going through charge where they're invulnerable, Cannoneers actually have an advantage to set up their skills, right? Set up their burst, not wasting time casting it, so that by the time when the boss drops, it's actually getting ahead of the curve, maximizing its lines and DPS, which is actually makes sense. Pretty good. So like even at the start of a fight, phase 1, they can get everything set up, ready to go, pre-cast it, place it down, and immediately it's going to do damage. Makes sense. It's pretty good, pretty valuable, right? And so when they have the best burst in the game, I just had to put them here, right? It just made sense. This tier is made for all these classes. Now, again, one iframe, when shit hits the fan, may not be looking so great, right? Glass cannons, but DPS wise, it may not matter. Just they're going to be that insane. Ice Lightning Mage are the same thing, right? Mages, Ethereal Form. That's all they got. Their only iframe is a stun. I don't know if they can use that. Not really the greatest thing to use, but 50k covert. Ice Lightning Mage. The best score in the game right now. Truffle Lock X. Not even full 60s. Pretty insane. Short cooldowns that pair with DS4 is the meta. Every 30 seconds, everything comes back up. Every 15 seconds, no, every 30 seconds, their big burst comes up. Huge. Absolutely huge. Allows them when, like I said, when classes like Paladins have 60-second long durations of like burst, 60-second on, 60 seconds off, that's hard to consistently do all the time. Maximize that 60-second window. 30 seconds. Use it, 6-second increments of burst, not have to use it, then another 30 seconds. That's easier to micromanage, right? That's easier to consistently put out DPS, right? Essentially, when it's up off cooldown, use it. It's going to pair with Defense Smash 4 9 times out of 10. Easy. You don't really have to think about it. That's what Ice Lightning Mages are, and they are the best in the game. The crazy part is their line count is bottom 10, I'm pretty sure. So line count, not that valuable. How you do your damage. Short cooldowns, pair with Defense Smash 4. That's how Ice Lightning Mages are just number 1 in Covert, very good in Mulong. Team content, did 300 bill plus in Lucid. Number 1 Mage, DPS wise, Glass Cannon tier. Dawn Warriors. Same thing. Arguably the best burst. And there's some good burst in the Warriors. Thief, and Demon Slayer, Paladin. Dawn Warriors apparently have the best of the best. Post remaster. Makes sense, right? This is the year of the Cygnus Knights. And so Dawn Warriors, again, they just have impenetrable skin. I think they have another iframe that's on their one of their dashes, like a 30-second iframe. So it's pretty good, right? 2, plenty. They don't got self-heals though. They don't got the leech that DKs, Demon Slayers, and Paladins do. Like Demon Avengers do. Like Arans do. But if you pair a Dawn Warrior with Sankro, this is kind of, maybe I should have named this the Sankro tier, right? If you give these classes Sankro, they're going to absolutely obliterate everything. But Dawn Warriors are very good. The top of the warrior classes, and I think warriors are very strong. So having them at the top, best burst, yeah, not much to say. And they look badass, and their skills are sick. Mercedes, still the king of archers as far as I know. Very similar to cannoneers, a lot of burst, a lot of small lines. They are capped. Their clone lines are capped, right? That's the downside. All those lines aren't as impactful. Cannoneers, Mercedes, Paladins, Nightwalkers all have small clone lines that are capped. But Mercedes and Cannoneers just have a tier above, more lines, more damage. The burst may be just slightly better than Paladins and Nightwalkers, which is why I have them in this tier. Not much survivability. Wind Archers are better. Bowmasters probably are better with their lifesteal, but their damage, this is their tier above as far as burst. And Wild Hunters and Pathfinders have good burst, but Mercedes are just very, very good here until I see otherwise. And then Night Lords, the King of Thieves. Well, not the King of Thieves, but again, you run with a Night Lord. There's plenty of them out there. They are back, topping the charts. Absolutely insane burst damage. And this is what I was talking about, mentioned before about Sia. How Sia's burst is like over 23 seconds. Night Lords, they condensed it. Their Shuriken is doing more lines in less time, right? Shorter cooldowns. Their V4 paired with their Barrage and their V1 and all their V skills, chunking, huge damage. It's insane to see. Night Lords are back. The only, again, if you give them Synchro, they are going to output maximum damage. But other than Dark Sight, they got nothing. I love their mini dashes. I love their up jumps. But when shit hits the fan, they need a lot of help to survive. And they're glass cannons, right? But hey, and I think my biggest complaint about Night Lord is that Barrage has to be in melee range. They need to change that. Why is Barrage their best skill? A melee range. They should be throwing Star from the farthest away. But if you're not right on top of the boss, you're missing lines, you're missing damage, and that's just a pain. It's very high risk, high reward for Night Lords. And yeah, that's why they're in this tier. And then the SS tier, only one class remaining, right? That's the Phantom. Not much to say here, except they got the most iframes in the game. They Synchro, stolen from Paladin. Pali-Res, now that they're taking that, is another 5-second iframe. That can be time leaped, along with Dark Sight, stolen skill. So they have 2 iframes that can be stolen with time leap. Synchro, only 15 seconds now, not huge. Freud of Wisdom. Their V1 has a little invulnerability at the well, at the end of their cast as well. 5, but they have 4 straight up. On top of that, you can time leap and get 2 more. So they could have 6, ideally. Right? Insane. On top of that, they can take Fountain, Bishop Fountain. They can take Bishop Heal. They can take Time Leap. They can take... what else? Shell for heals. They just take everything. They're just insane. The best class in the game. Oh yeah, and besides that, they arguably have the best DPS in the game. They're short. Again, the meta is best fit for short cooldowns, pair with defense match 4, 30 seconds. And shocker, Phantoms have all of that. Their V3, their V4, Ace in their hole, their V2, and their V1, Luck of the Draw, are all short burst skills, 30 seconds or less cooldown. So they don't even have to think. They just, if it comes off cooldown, they're going to use it. It's going to pair with Defense Match 4, and all those lines are going to be insane. So, and plus they can attack on the move. They can heal constantly. If they want, if they get lucky with the cards, they're just never going to die for a short period of time for that window. And Like I think they have, I saw Phantom do 50, almost 50k covert, if not 50k. They're right up there in Mulong, the best solo class in the game. The obviously can't kill them in bossing content, best aggros in the game. Their DPS is insane. Their DPS is set up perfectly for the meta. They are the one of one. They got the best of the paladins. They got the best, like, short-term burst is no slouch either. Like every 30 seconds is no slouch. They can do a ton of damage. Attack on the move, they just have everything. The best support. Like I said, Synchro, Palirez are the best, two of the best skills in the game. They got both of them. So, yeah, not much to say there. Phantoms are insane. To be the king of the thieves and just to have, like, everything. Like, the best of all their classes. They even nerfed Synchro. To be only 15 seconds, doesn't even matter. Just insane. Just, either way, I mean, they've always been the best for a while. So, either way, this is my class tier rankings. I challenge you to make your own class tier rankings. It's definitely not going to look like this, and it's totally okay. I think that's the great thing about this meta, about doing this tiers list, is that it is not going to look like this, and that's great. That means that the game is balanced, right? You might have some classes at the top, right? I might be biased towards certain classes over the other. I just may not know enough about certain classes, but I think I'm right about one thing, and that's that there are no really truly bad classes. B plus is probably the worst that I can get. There's just not enough data, maybe on some of these classes at the highest level. But I bet that some of these classes are better than you think, better than I think, and can easily go up tiers just by having more visibility to them. So please, content, need it. We need it. I've been finding a lot of great content out there, but I need more. I need more showcase to share, to see, to learn, to praise these classes that are underplayed. Everyone knows about Pallies, Phantoms, Demon Slayers, Dual Blades, Night Lords. I need to see these other classes. Marksman, Cadena, Angelic Buster, Ho Young, give me another Ho Young. Kana, give me another Kana. Hayato, Adele, Battle Mage, please. Kaiser. Yes. That's the fun in this. I hope you guys enjoy this. Give me your thoughts. Like, where I was wrong, where I was right, what classes you believe I think are overrated, underrated. I want to hear it all. I want to have all the discussions. I want this to be, I want to learn more about these classes. It was fun to get to know and get the polls going and get to know and talk to people from Asia and EU and Enosis and all the places that have these classes that I don't see in NA consistently. It's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. Stressful, but a lot of fun. And thank you guys for sticking with me on this. And this is the class tiers ranking post V4. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. And if you guys made it all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe and join the Discord community. The Echo Clan community is growing, the best community in the game right now. And if you want to take your gameplay to the next level, improve your gameplay, do more damage, do more DPS, you definitely want to subscribe. The first 7 days are free and you're going to get full access to everything in the channel. So you definitely want to check that out. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time.